All right. What do we got? We got a lot of questions? I didn't even check.
We have a few questions. I wouldn't say we have a lot of questions.
That's good.
So first up, we got from Mighty Q Dog. He said, so that's at Mighty Q Dog, DAWG. He says,
Good
P1,
question.
do people say loose lips sink ships where you work? Or would that earn someone an ass kicking? I thought about it, Eric, and, no, man, no.
No, they don't say it, or no one would be an ass.
I don't think I've ever had anybody say that where I work. That would definitely... We do have... So when we're doing our practice wars, we have posters up on the wall that says loose tweets sink fleets.
Oh.
And then they took Twitter away from us when we all made fun of it.
That's pure gold.
So we're terrified that they'll actually cut our lips off if we make fun of it. But no, I've never heard that phrase came from World War II when everybody was super paranoid that German spies would were overhearing everything. Yeah. When there was actual danger in the Navy, as opposed to now where probably shouldn't talk about that.
Moving on.
So thanks for your question, Eric. Next up, we have J-Rock the Game Rocker.
Woo!
That's at J-Rock Game Rocker on Twitter. And he's asking, what shall we be drinking at the Bill BQ?
Ooh. What do you have in mind?
J-Rock, I normally like to keep my beer sort of light, a lager. So I would probably be going with either the Mill Street Organic, because I know that Mill Street is initially brewed in Ontario.
Oh.
So it'd be cool.
Fresh.
I went to a Mill Street brewery in Newfoundland, and I enjoyed it. It'd be that or something simple like a Coors Light, Bud Light. I generally don't like to drink to levels of intoxication around big groups of people that I'm not super comfortable with, because I tend to make really bad decisions when I'm drunk.
Would make for a great video, though.
It would make for, maybe, or evidence.
Yeah.
So I'll probably go with Mill Street Organic, maybe a Coors Light, Bud Light type thing. We'll see. I know it's bring your own bill, so
yeah.
So I'll be doing that. I'm wondering if that can be heard by the camera.
That can definitely be heard. Maybe not.
Nope, it's not.
All right, let's move on.
There's a truck or something backing up outside there. So thanks for your question, J-Rock, and I am looking forward to sharing a cold one with you, my friend.
Keep on rocking them beers.
What are you going to be drinking at the Bill BQ?
Bill BQ.
I don't care what anyone else is drinking, just J-Rock.
Bring your own bill.
Next up, we got Diego Avila at A Latino Lawyer.
Diego!
And he asks, can you really get Sega from having grown up with only the Genesis? He's just asking for a friend.
Hypothetically.
Yeah, hypothetically. I don't even know I don't know if that's a real disease or if that's a made-up Sega disease.
No, that's real. That's real.
Yeah? So why don't you answer that one then?
Look, it turns Sonic's orange blue.
Really?
He's only just getting over that now.
Because all he had
Back
was
to being
the
tan, yeah.
So it took Sonic moving to Nintendo to get his arms from blue back to tan.
Right. Man, people were really upset about that. But yeah, maybe you can, I don't know. Who grew up with the Sega? I mean, they all seem like normal, fine people.
Low.
Oh. I guess I should have thought about this more.
Thanks for your question, Diego.
I love you, though.
Next up, we have a question from Bonus Barrel, from Rob specifically.
Yep.
And we have one question that's not on here that we'll jump to. It says, at Bonus Barrel, says, we asked this on our show, now I ask you too.
Yes.
Who is the most handsome video game character?
They got it right on their show when they said Drake.
You really sticking with Nathan Drake?
Dude,
most handsome
who is more handsome than Nathan Drake?
Edge?
No. Okay, first of all, let's pick. You could say it is in your mind. Are you picturing him a handsome, grizzled guy? I can't. I'm not in your head. I don't know.
He's like Bradley Cooper with like.
Oh boy, that's Drake. That is Drake.
No. Drake. I'm not discounting Drake's attractiveness.
All right, good.
Or his sex appeal, because he's got that dangerous Indiana Jones bad boy thing. But he's just a carbon copy of Indy, with more jokes.
Indiana Jones is not attractive.
Are you telling me Harrison Ford's not a beautiful man?
No, I am not telling you that at all. He is not a beautiful man. He's a good guy. He's a good actor.
When Harrison Ford...
I would let Nathan Drake eat crackers in bed. Harrison Ford, he'd have to get out of the room.
You would kick Han Solo out of bed for eating crackers.
Maybe.
You're crazy.
I'm talking Indy. Yeah.
You are crazy.
You're saying Indiana Jones is better looking than Nathan Drake.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's the original thing.
All right, we'll put
a
poll
He's the
up.
original. It's just like Madonna's more beautiful than Britney Spears. She's the original.
No,
Britney
she
Spears is
isn't.
just a copy.
Well, actually, that's a tough call.
Somebody's going to tell me Madonna's a copy of Marilyn Monroe or something like that. I don't know.
Well, she beats all that.
Yeah.
But, all right, so what's your answer? Are you going with Edge?
No, I'm going to go Shepard. Commander Shepard.
Generic.
He's not generic.
He is.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite podcast on iTunes. He's got the shaved head. He saves the galaxy. What does Drake save? Money.
Who cares? We're not about attractiveness.
I don't. You know what? I do find
conversation. Let's move on. Thanks,
right.
Rob.
Good question, Rob. So next up, our last question.
What did Shelby answer on the podcast? I can't even remember what she answered.
I think she said Rob.
I think she did too.
So next up, we have William Vega at JJ198620004.
He's going to hook us up with some Mexican food.
He is. We do have a Mexican friend, it turns out.
Yep.
So he wants to know, P2, did you get your PS4 fixed, and how did you fix it?
I did get it fixed. There was a guy on Kijiji, which is also like Craigslist, I think, in the States, who fixed it for me. It was the power supply. So I just had to pay for the power supply, and I gave him $20. Nice guy. Everything's fixed. Yeah. That's all it was. Broken power supply. Apparently that's pretty common.
Last question, Donnie. He wants to know, why do people buy a ton of shovelware only to purge it later on down the line?
Good question. Who does that?
A lot of people.
Oh.
So when I started collecting, I bought a bunch of games that I didn't want and have since had to purge them from the console. I think a lot of it is overwhelming. People see games for cheap and they think, oh man, I want to have a wall of games behind me, without considering the quality of the games or whether or not you're ever going to play those games. And I think a lot of people, when they just get into the retro market, they'll see a bundle of games, say a box of NES or a box of Super Nintendo, and they just grab it all. Now, sometimes this works in your favor because you can flip a lot of it, make money to support the hobby.
Yeah, Bill does a great job with that.
Bill does a good job of it. A lot of people do. And as for me, it was a case of I wasn't sure when I started. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I wasn't sure how focused or widespread I wanted to be with my collection. And I think as you start buying more games, you start developing a sense of who you are as a collector. Then you essentially pare back. You start to realize you don't need a sealed copy of Tales of Symphonia Collector's Edition.
Yeah, I still see that.
Yeah, that's going soon.
I thought about taking my characters out, but then I realized I don't like the game. Oh, I meant to do something in the update too. I'll do it next week.
Okay.
That's great. But yeah, I've never really been a shovelware purchaser, so I can't really answer it. I've always been really, really picky about my games, which leads to a lot of arguments.
Yeah. I am more picky now, which next week's rant could possibly be discussing my N64 collection, what 13 games I plan to keep, and what games are going to be gone.
Yeah, well now we're going to get a bunch of comments. Maybe you can add some.
Mm.
Anyway, let's keep going.
That's it.
We're done.